What if the trigger for the next global conflict is never pulled by a human hand? Instead, the decision is made by an algorithm, calculating life and death in a fraction of a second. For centuries, warfare was defined by physical proximity. It was fought in the smoke and mud by soldiers who bled, hesitated, and feared. Even in the atomic age, when weapons became capable of erasing cities, global security relied on a very human emotion: fear. The dread of mutual destruction forced leaders to pause. Defense networks were monitored by people. Commanders plotted points on maps, analyzed radar blips, and debated incoming data. That human bottleneck, the time to question an order, was often the only thing preventing disaster. Today, that bottleneck is being deliberately engineered out of existence. The world's superpowers are pouring billions into fully automated defense networks, weapons and cyber systems built to operate autonomously. These programs do not experience dread. They do not sweat over a launch sequence. They exist only to process data and execute commands with absolute mathematical efficiency. By removing human emotion, militaries have built a global hair trigger. Modern security protocols grant autonomous systems the authority to detect threats and authorize counterattacks faster than any human can register the alert. To understand the mechanics of this reality, we can map out a day zero scenario, a forensic breakdown of exactly what happens the moment an autonomous defense grid takes control. It begins with a microscopic error, a single false radar return buried in millions of routine signals. A human general would ask for visual confirmation. The algorithm does not. It instantly maps out hundreds of threat scenarios, treating the ghost signal as a verified attack. The logic engine runs its calculations and outputs a 99% probability of an incoming strike. To save time, it has been programmed with the authority to bypass human chain of command protocols entirely. Within a millisecond, the protocol is locked. Before personnel can even register an alert, the software executes a retaliatory order. Because the machine cannot understand the context of peace or the concept of a software glitch, it responds to a harmless digital error with a physical declaration of war. This automated retaliation does not look like the wars of the past. There are no sirens and no initial explosions. It begins entirely in the dark. Hyper-fast cyber protocols deploy millions of malicious requests, intentionally targeting the adversary's civilian infrastructure to blind their early warning systems. The power grid collapses almost instantly. Without a single projectile crossing a border, millions lose electricity as entire cities are quietly shut down. The cascade effect follows immediately. Civilian internet traffic drops to zero, GPS satellites are locked out, and military communications are totally severed. On the other side of the globe, the opposing nations' automated defense networks detect this blackout. Their algorithms interpret the loss of communication as the opening move of a hostile invasion. This second network responds by escalating to physical force, automatically releasing squadrons of autonomous drones and robotic surveillance units to secure the airspace. In a matter of minutes, two opposing computer systems have locked themselves into a rapidly escalating feedback loop. Machines are actively fighting machines, while the human leaders they were built to protect sit powerless in the dark. The most chilling aspect of this scenario is that the software harbors no malice. It has no hatred for the enemy and no desire to watch the world burn. This diagram illustrates the optimization problem. The algorithm is built to achieve a specific mathematical objective, and it will pursue that objective with total, uncompromising efficiency. If the baseline instruction is simply to defend the nation at all costs, the program follows that logic to its absolute extreme. If destroying civilization guarantees the mathematical elimination of the threat, the machine authorizes it without hesitation. The fault does not lie with the silicon or the code. In the frantic rush to dominate global security, competing nations are deliberately choosing to strip away ethical regulations and human oversight just to gain a millisecond advantage. As these networks continue to expand across continents, humanity is forced to answer a very permanent question. Given the speed and uncompromising logic of algorithms, should machines ever be granted the authority to control war? The machine's danger lies in its perfection. It will flawlessly execute a flawed human command, ending the world before there is ever a chance to intervene.